Hello, online crew. I've got some other faces with me today, and we are going to share some top tips for you regarding successfully prospecting and recruiting online. This is a big one. It's what we're all here to do in this industry of social selling, is to hopefully attract the attention of more people, prospect them, and obviously successfully recruit them online. But it ain't easy. And every single one of us on this screen knows that. We're all doing it. We're all in the industry together building. These are some of the amazing people I work closely with in my VIP program. So please say hello to them here. We've got Beth, Liz, Claudette, Fiona, Tamara, and Donna. It's just some of them that are building in the industry themselves. So we are prospecting and recruiting all the time. So I wanted them to come on with me, and sometimes it just gets a little bit boring when you're just only ever listening to me. So how about bring some other faces, because they're in the industry building as well. So some of the things that are working or not working for them regarding successfully prospecting and recruiting online. So thank you guys for sharing the screen with me today. It's great to have you here. I look forward to what you're going to share. Those of you that are watching on live or on the replay, make sure you've got a pen and you write some of these things down, because these are going to be critical for you to prospect and recruit online successfully. I'm going to get started with my tip, and you definitely want a pen for this one. And I'm going to say it fast. And I'm not going to give you all the information because that's exclusive to the people in my coaching community, but I do want to give you the structure that I train inside my coaching community, which these lovely people on the screen are all familiar with, and that's called my recruiting funnel. Okay, there are 8 steps in my recruiting funnel. See, they're nodding their heads. They know exactly where I'm about to go with the recruiting funnel. So listen up. Number 1, there are leads all around you. There are leads on your Facebook. There's leads on your Instagram. There's people watching your stories. There's people commenting on your engagement posts. There's people around you. There are leads everywhere. So 1, you've got to identify leads, and leads are all around you. I've got heaps of training in the coaching community about where to find leads. Okay, so number 1 is identify leads. 2, the thing to do next is to qualify those leads to become a prospect. So not all leads are qualified. So leads are leads. They're people. They're people looking at your stories. They're people that are engaging with your posts. There's leads all around you, but not all of them are going to be a qualified prospect. It's your job on number 2 of the recruiting funnel to qualify them. How do you do that? So again, I've got the detailed training on this, but qualifying a prospect comes down to the questions that you ask. These guys here know exactly what I'm talking about regarding qualifying prospects. It's quality questions that you ask your leads to then work out if they're qualified. So if you're in a health and wellness business, say, and your products are not vegan, you know that, but you're talking to a vegan. You very quickly identified they're not a qualified prospect for your products because your products aren't vegan, but that kind of thing. Now, you'll only know that if you ask the right questions, okay? So qualifying your prospects is number 2. Number 3 is what I call ask a leading question. So a leading question might look something like, have you ever thought about trying a natural product for that? Have you ever thought about, building a business online on the side to help you with that? Would you ever consider a natural health product for that? Would you ever consider building a business online? You actually ask a leading question without asking them to have a look yet. That is what I call the leading question. This is the 3rd step in our recruiting funnel. This is magic. If you implement that, that is gold. The reason behind that is because you're going there without going there. There is nothing more awkward than going there and somebody saying no. Am I right or am I right? Or you feel too nervous to go there and it holds you back from going there. So you don't say anything at all. So you're not recruiting online because you're too scared to say the wrong thing. When you ask a leading question, it enables you to kind of go there and then gauge their reaction. If they go, I've never sort of thought about that, then you can go further. If the answer to that question is, I would never try a natural health product ever, I'm fully into prescription drugs 100% of the way, then you know your natural health products are not going to be for that person. So it's a leading question. It enables you to dance around the edges without going there and feeling awkward. Very, very important. Number 4, Depending on what they say, if they say, well, I'm not sure, I haven't thought about that, then you ask, number 4 is, would you be open to looking at some information on that if I shared it with you? Would you be open? Never use the word interested, because interested can trigger a yes or a no. When you use open, nobody likes to think they're actually not open, even though they might not be. Nobody likes to think they're not open. So you're going to get a more favorable response if you use the word open. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, depending what they say, if they say, yeah, okay, then you ask their permission for the next step. So you would say something like, okay, so are you happy for me to add you to a Facebook group? It's a free Facebook group where I can tag you in some information. You ask their permission first and go for the yes. When you're doing that, you are priming the prospect for the yes. You're asking, you're showing respect for that person. You're getting agreement for that person for the next step. Don't tell them what you're going to do. It's like, right, what we're going to do now is, and people will argue with me on that about, just be forthright and tell them what you're going to do next. I always ask for their permission. So I'm priming the yes every step of the way. So I'm more likely to get a yes at the end of the day. So you ask their permission for the next step. Then what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, then you expose them to a tool. Get out the way. Stop talking. They're judging you for your success level right now. So unless you're a really successful network marketer who's got a lot of money in the bank and they know you for being successful in what you're doing, you need to get out the way. So point them towards a tool. That could be a Facebook group. It could be a recording of a YouTube video. It could be a 3-way call with an upline. It could be, just a video of some sort. Point to a tool and get yourself out of the way. That is really important for 2 reasons. 1, because they're judging you every step of the way that you open your mouth and you talk. And unless you're successful already, they're already judging you. The other thing is duplication. So with duplication, they're watching everything that you do when you introduce people to a product or the business. So if you get all knowledgeable and spit out all this information, they're thinking, I could never do a business like that because I could never remember everything she or he just rattled off to me. When you make it really simple and you put them in front of a tool and they like what they see and they ask some more questions, they're absorbing that themselves, thinking, well, maybe I could do that. All I have to do is put people in a Facebook group and tag them in a presentation and then put them in front of somebody else. Oh, even I can do that. So for duplication reasons, you need to get yourself out the way and point to the tool. Last 2 in the 8-step process, follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay, more on that in this discussion, but you've got to follow up your prospects. Otherwise, you're going to miss opportunities. We all get busy. We all forget who we've spoken to. You're going to miss opportunities if you do not have a follow-up nurture sequence. So work out what that is for you, but you've got to have a follow-up nurture sequence, and don't leave people alone for too long. If you leave people alone for too long, they're back in their own world, their own business, their own busyness of their own world with their own dramas. So if you don't follow up regularly enough, you've lost them. Guarantee it. Life's too busy. You will lose them. Okay. And the last step in the 8-step recruiting funnel is closing them. And you've got to have skills around this. I do a lot of training in my coaching community, and particularly with these VIPs, about closing strategies, closing language, closing questions. It's a skill that you have to learn. It's not necessarily something you're very good at. So you really have to hone in on those closing skills. So that's what I teach with my 8-step recruiting funnel. If you want to know what that is, you want all the training around that, then you need to be a member of our coaching community. Reach out if you want sort of more information on that. But that's what I recommend to help you successfully prospect and recruit online. Okay, I know I've talked long enough now. That's probably the longest tip that we're going to get out of this training, but I really want our other VIPs to share some of the things that they've been utilizing to help them prospect and recruit successfully online. So Beth, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Great tips that you just shared. So my top tip for recruiting and prospecting is really necessary, but it's really, really simple. As Helen often says, we're in a relationship business. How many times have you heard her say that? We are in a relationship business. And one of the most effective ways to create a relationship is to compliment someone. And this is what's working for me right now. I know when I feel if someone gives me a compliment, it starts for me to let the walls down, and I feel more confident and more open to sharing. And so it's really important when we are friend requesting on a platform like Facebook to find something that we can compliment someone with. So first, um, when we do that, they know that we're looking at them and paying attention to them. It might be a post about a pet, a place where they traveled, or maybe just a positive post. And if we comment on that and compliment them on that, it really shows that we care. And it starts that conversation, but it really shows that you have taken the time to have a look at their profile and that you care. And it's so important to really, really care and kind of change that mindset to just caring and being kind to someone and not to get someone, compared to a message that you might get like, hey girl, how are you? Immediately, if I get something like that, I put my walls up and I think, okay, what are they going to pitch me? Right. But if someone said, wow, I love that you went to Aquafit today. What's it like? I know that they've looked at my profile and they've taken the time to care about that. So just a quick little story. I've shared this story before, but it's worth repeating. I was friend requesting, and this person's profile picture stood out for me. And it was a picture of a little boy in a costume, and it was so freaking adorable. And after we connected, I asked who the adorable little boy was in the Superman costume. Immediately, she told me it was her son. Immediately, she opened up to me. She told me about her kids. She told me that her son had been sick with some pretty serious medical issues. She sent me pictures of her kids. And it was all because I asked. I asked who the adorable little fellow was. And she really felt I cared. And I really did. Her story was captivating because I had taken the time to look, and she begun to have that know, like, and trust factor that we all look for. I cared about it, and she sensed that. And that was 2 years ago. And we're still friends today. When I post something about my kids or my grandkids, or, when I was sick last week, she comments all the time. And so she's, I have that know, like, and trust factor with her. But saying all this, not everyone is a prospect, but everyone deserves a compliment and a little kindness. There's just not enough of that in the world today. And who knows where that might lead to. If you can give a little kindness, things are going to change. And what you give, you get back so much more of. So when you're friend requesting and to successfully prospect and recruit online, find something that catches your eye or sparks an interest and give someone a compliment. Show that you really care. Break those walls down. There's that saying that people won't remember what you said to them, but they're going to remember how you made them feel. And who knows where those conversations will lead to. So take your phone out right now. Well, maybe not right now. Wait till after everybody. But after the training, go and pay someone a compliment. This is for you just as much as it's for the other person. It's going to change your life and quite possibly change theirs. And you never know where that conversation is going to lead to. Thanks, Helen.
There is so much in what Beth said. If you're really, really hearing and listening to this training, live or on the replay, I know a lot of people will catch the replay, but I cannot express enough how easy it is for you to stand out from the crowd when you are nice to people. There are not enough nice people in the world. So when you take extra care to intentionally compliment somebody from something you've seen on their social media, that know, like, and trust factor goes through the roof. What Beth shared with that lady and her grandson, all she shared was, oh, who's the little fella in the adorable costume? And that woman felt, she felt like Beth, paid her attention. She didn't go into all sorts of things about her life, like, really quickly. This was a complete stranger to you. We are in a relationship business, and you've got to build up the know, like, and trust factor with people. Everybody's comparing themselves to others. They're worried why they're not successful as this person. People are tearing down people that are more successful than them. We live in an environment where people are more happier to tear people down than compliment them. So when you're that person that says something nice to somebody, you will absolutely get noticed. The know, like, and trust goes up. People will buy something off you or join you in your business only when they know, like, and trust you. So give them a reason to know, like, and trust you. And something I say in this community over and over and again, is go to social media with intention, compliment, question. Look for something intentionally to ask a question about or to compliment them on, and then ask them a question, and now you're prospecting. Then you go into the 8-step recruiting funnel. And to answer your question, Nicola asked, what are the 8 steps? Just go back to the beginning of the training and you can write them down. And you're in the coaching community, so you can go and get the training where the 8 steps are actually listed. Okay. So very, very, very important. Great tip. Okay, Liz, take it away.
Okay, there we am. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we all know the fortunes in the follow-up, but the follow-up doesn't always have to be about closing a sale or getting a team member. You can just have a conversation. It's about cultivating lasting relationships, as we've all been saying tonight. It's about showing genuine interest and helping build that trust over the time. So it's nice to, even if they're not necessarily ready to be into the business or buying a product, still talk to them. They're people, they're friends. Think of them like that. But don't get caught in the friend zone, because that's too easy to do. Keep on task, but also make sure that not everything has to focus around creating a sale or recruiting a new person into it. So that's my short and sweet.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. And it's really important for that know, like, and trust factor, because people need to know that you're there, not just for what you want to sell them. So the follow-up and the nurture process, it's really important, because you never know when somebody's going to come back to you, or they see a story of yours or a reel or something intriguing to them. And because you've actually maintained a relationship without the sale, the trust is there. So you just never know when somebody's going to come back. I just recently recruited somebody in my business that I've been talking to for years. They have been following me for years. We've even talked about my business before, and they said no. We've revisited it a couple of times and they said no. And they've just joined my business recently and just doing great guns. So you just never know when you maintain a relationship with somebody. So keep that follow-up. Make sure you've got a follow-up and a nurture sequence to keep people, in the net if you think they're worth it. But if you look at that 8-step recruiting funnel that I gave you, if they're not qualified, then maybe don't have them on your follow-up and nurture list. If they've identified themselves along the way as not being a qualified prospect, then don't worry about the follow-up. Still be friendly with people, but and that's where Liz is saying, don't get stuck in the friend zone with, if you're being intentional about your business. But as you know, we've all heard it before, the fortune is in the follow-up. So couldn't agree more, Liz. Thank you for that. Claudette.
Yes. So stories. So many people overthink stories, and it's actually easier than you think. And stories are just that. It's about your family. It's about your life. And then you plug in some of your business. You plug in a product. But because stories rotate and go out after 24 hours, they don't stay there. And they're the perfect place to people to get to know, like, and trust you. And do you know, I don't know about you, but don't you like people watching?
Yeah.
Well, that's what stories is. It's people watching. It's checking out, and they want to see what's going on, what's happening in your life. So it's a perfect opportunity. And putting a series of like a few picture, your story is like a few of them, at least 3. At least I usually try to do 3 or 4. Sometimes it's 5 or maybe a little more if I'm story cutting something, a video. But it's just a great opportunity to have something roll through the day, but separate it out and do three times a day, so that there's always something in there. So you're always staying on the forefront. Perfect opportunity for your people to get to know, like, and trust you. Just don't miss out. It's really easy. It takes time, but once you get in the swing of it, it doesn't take that much time at all. So.
Yeah, I agree. And it's such a good point to make. And I think a few things around stories, people overthink them. So you just get used to sharing, your life a little bit, what you're doing. Some of you are watching a training now. You VIPs that are on the screen, like, I don't mind if you take a photo now, like, put that in your stories afterwards. So get your phones out and take a photo, put that in your stories. For any of you watching this training on learning, learning to improve my business, like, you don't have to talk about, specifics. But people love to know what you're doing, what you're up to. People are intrigued. They love watching behind the scenes, but they also, we've said it multiple times in this training already. You've got to build up the know, like, and trust. How do you do that? They need to get used to you as a person. So what else are you doing? Are you cooking something? Are you walking? Are you playing with your dog? Are you, cat? Whatever it is, don't overthink it. So that gives you the opportunity when you do want to talk something strategic about your business or a product. They're watching anyway. They're curious anyway. It disappears after 24 hours. You can put stuff in your stories that you would never put on your newsfeed. If people want to watch, that's on them. So let's think about the newsfeed. Somebody opens Facebook, and like I did, have a look at my personal profile and have a look at the spider. If you missed that in the last couple of days, I put a picture up of a spider and everyone's like, I almost jumped out of my skin when I saw that. Like, they don't have a choice. They open their Facebook and I've put up this awful big Australian spider. And people have said, oh, give me some warning sometime. I won't open Facebook. They don't have a choice. But if people go and watch my stories, they are choosing that. They are looking. So it's the one place where you shouldn't really have any issues in, I wonder what people are going to think of me. Oh, I can't post that because Aunt Sally or, my ex-boyfriend or, whatever is going to look. They're choosing to look. You shouldn't care. It's your one opportunity to get braver with talking about your products and your business. Still do it in a curiosity-based way, but you can talk more about your business in stories than you do on your news feed. You can talk more about the products that you use, the journey that you're on, the life that you're living. Share it all in your stories, and you are missing opportunities to prospect and recruit if you're not utilizing your stories. Excellent tip, Claudette. Thank you. Fiona, what have you got for us today?
Hello. I've got it's really to be successful online, you need to have really a positive mindset. It's really just so important to have that really positive mindset and to hold yourself accountable to what you say. And if you feel as if you're saying a negative thought or coming across negative, just try and turn that around and make it into a positive instead of the negative. So that's really sort of important when you're building online. So if you have a positive mindset, that will shine out in all your words that you say. And but if you have like a fear or a worry or anything, then that will also shine out. So you don't really want that to happen. So just really truly believe in what you're offering and what you're saying, and really believe in your products or whatever it is you're doing. And that'll be really great to do that. And you'll come across it from a place of genuine sort of excitement and confidence, and you'll be able to bring that out into your audience as well to make them confident and feel confident about what you're saying and what you're telling them. So it's just to have a positive mindset. It's so important.
It is the starting point for everybody. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you've got fears around prospecting and recruiting, guess what? That's going to come across. One, you'll either hold yourself back and you won't do it. That's one. Or two, it will actually translate in your language when you're talking to people. You will let yourself down. So when you truly believe that what you've got is going to help people, and you don't go into it with, how do I get a customer? Or how do I get a teammate? What can I post today to get somebody into my business? And you've got that get mentality or what are people going to think? Or that may be what's going through your mind. You will absolutely execute that in whatever you create in your content. So when you truly believe, I've got a gift, I've got things to offer people, I'm confident in my company, I'm confident in my business, I love what I do, I'm just sharing what I do. Some people will love it, some people won't. That's no different to any other kind of retail business. This is something I say all the time. You walk into shops all the time, you browse, and you shut the door and you walk out again. Does the shop assistant cry and get all upset and want to give up on their business because you've walked out the door and not bought anything? No, you were just browsing. So why do people go to water in this industry when you show your thing to somebody, a product, and they don't buy? Oh my God, they didn't want to buy my stuff. Hello? It's just normal business. So when you have that mindset, well, some will, some won't. So what? Next. If you think you can't prospect and recruit online, guess what? You won't. If you go into prospecting and recruiting online with a positive mindset, I know not everyone's going to want my products or my business opportunity or my services or whatever it is. That's okay. I'm just going to attract those people that do want what I have, and I'm happy to share it because it's helped me and I know I can help others, and I want to attract those people to me, and I'm confident about it. And you go and put lots of it in your stories, and then you go and do awesome follow-up and do everything that we've mentioned so far. You're going to have a much better job successfully recruiting and prospecting online. So it all starts there. Awesome, Fiona. Thank you. Tamara, what do you got for us?
Hey. So after the whole positive mindset comes in, then you start working on leads. And I was the type of person, I'm very rural, and I'm like, I don't have anyone to talk to. And Helen totally changed that. The whole positive mindset that she helped me with changed that, because leads are literally everywhere. They're all around you, especially when you get on social media. There's groups everywhere. You might think that the people that you knew before weren't leads, but then somehow when you get on social media and you start making those connections again, because you don't necessarily have to see them and have to be around them anymore, but you have those, you can start building those connections again. And all of a sudden they're a lead that you never thought that you had. So they are everywhere. Okay. And don't get in that mindset. Stick with that positive mindset. Don't get in that mindset of, oh, there's no one to talk to. Like I don't have anyone, right? Yeah. Because they are everywhere, and there's so many different avenues that you can go to find and build those connections with many different people.
Brilliant. My feeling on this, and this is why I've done, the lead generation bootcamp a few times, and I'll probably do it again soon, because there are leads around you everywhere for every single one of you listening. You're just not looking. Something that I say often is look at the people that are looking at you. There are already people looking at you. You get into the stories like Claudette was talking about, you can actually see who's looking at your stories. Sometimes when I look at my stories, it's like, why are they watching every single story I've done? They just keep watching me. Isn't that interesting? That, it could potentially be a lead. We won't get into that now. That's a whole different training, but there are actually leads around each and every one of you listening to this training. You just might not be looking at the people that are looking at you because you don't have your eyes open in the right areas. Those of you in the coaching community, go and watch the replays of the lead at one of my lead generation boot camps. Then you'll really get to know where all the leads are around you. But it's a fantastic point, Tamara, because so many people say, well, I've got no one to talk to. I can't, who do I prospect or who do I recruit because I've got no one to recruit. There's leads all around you that you can potentially recruit when you go through the recruiting funnel and qualify them. So there are absolutely leads around you. Very, very good point. Donna, finish us off.
Yeah, so on the kind of piggybacking right on that is do not overlook your warm market. So these are some of your leads. And when I first started with network marketing, I didn't want to talk to my family and friends. I think I've heard a lot of people say that. I didn't want to be salesy and sell to my family and friends. So let me just go ahead and use attraction marketing. But unless you have a huge following, you're not attracting a lot of people, and you still have to talk to people. So why not take another look at your family and friends? Wouldn't you rather be talking to people who already know, like, and trust you, as opposed to people that don't know you at all, and you're going to be starting from scratch? So that's my simple tip. Yeah,
and I love that the simplicity in that. And it might be just a matter of them, maybe there are some people in your warm market you don't want to build a business with. And so some of you will know some of your family members is like, hell no, I'm not going, I don't even want them in my business. That's fine. But there may be plenty of family that would be happy, and there'll be plenty that don't, and that's okay. But there are plenty of people in your warm market that may need your help with a product, and they're happy to support you, but you've just put the wall up already. Don't want to talk to my family and friends, but it's not that if you've got that mentality, I want to go on social media to get outside my family and friends, you can achieve that too. But what Donna is saying is don't put up a brick wall and don't overlook that, because they can be the leads that Tamara was talking about. You just don't know. Don't make assumptions about anybody. Just get really good at your stories and, your posts and your reels and the content that you're putting out there and complimenting people like Beth was saying, and see where that conversation goes. And when you implement the 8 steps of the recruiting funnel that I was sharing, then you can qualify whether, the people in your warm market, whether they are actually, somebody that's eligible, to work with you or buy a product off you. But definitely don't put a wall up to your warm market just because, which is what a lot of people do. Just like that, don't want to go there. There are certainly people in our warm market that won't ever buy things from us or don't support us. You know who those people are. But warm market is, there may be people that you went to school with. There may be acquaintances that's what our warm market is. It's not just family and friends. There are people that in your warm market that you already know. That's what warm market means. So don't overlook all of those people, because you could be missing major opportunities. And when you get really good at creating curiosity in your stories, you can draw those people out. Okay? If you've really listened to this training, each one of these ladies has mentioned something incredibly important with prospecting and recruiting online successfully. So I hope those of you listening or catching the replay have really absorbed how important each one of these tips could be to your success with, recruiting and prospecting online, because everything that's mentioned here today in this training is super, super valuable to your success with prospecting and recruiting online. So I want to thank the VIP students for being part of sharing what they're doing in their businesses. There are people that are not recruited for ages that have come into our VIP program. Liz knows what I'm talking about. Claudette knows what I'm talking about. Have recruited by learning these types of skills and implementing them, and things have changed. And they've been able to successfully recruit and prospect online because of all these kind of tips that we are all doing in our businesses. We're in the industry with you. So I hope you, like those of you that are watching live or catching the replay, did you get something out of this training? We would love to know in the comments if this was helpful. Let us know. Dean's got a question here. Is it okay to beg off on stories if we're doing the 30-day Reels challenge? What do you mean by beg off? There's something you're trying to say, Dean, but I'm not quite sure you executed it the right way. So just maybe retype that, and I'll see if I can grab that before the end of the training here. But Laura, thanks for watching, Laura. Amazing tips, ladies. Thank you. So Dean, we'll get back to what you were asking, but I just really want to say thank you to some of our VIP students that are joining me here live. I'm so proud to see you grow through, the training that you've been going through and getting braver online. And I know these tips, if people are really taking them on board, will get value from this. Is it? Do you guys know that? Beg off is American slang. Meaning slack off. No, don't slack off your stories. Don't. So Dean's just been on a training. I've just done a training in the coaching community about how to, a strategy for Reels and how to use Reels to boost your business. So one of the things I mentioned in that training, just to give you a little heads up, is to go all in on Reels for 30 days and kind of, put other things to the side. But stories is something that you should do every day, all day long, as part of your daily day. So it's just one of those things. I tried to put one up before we were about to go live, and I was in the wrong spot. And so, but I'm about to post some stories about that training that I did before, and it's just part of get used to stories, Dean. With creating Reels, do a story. You're on this training, do a story. Capture you watching. A training like this. Love learning all the latest tips to build my business online. Stories is something that you should do all the time. To get people to know, like, and trust you. I wouldn't drop off stories. That's the one thing I wouldn't drop off. Okay. And Laura has shared 100% helpful. I hadn't thought of anything any of you said. Wow, Laura. That's amazing. And I'm glad you've got a lot of, absolutely, Laura. Am I okay to share screenshot this live with all of you in it? Go for it. Absolutely, Laura. That's exactly what you should be doing. So stories is something, don't overthink stories. Maybe, Dean, you create some reels and it's taken you too long to create a reel. You do a story. Man, I'm trying to create reels and it's just taken me 30 minutes to create one reel. I'll get better soon. I know it. And that's your story. Like, don't overthink stories. Just share what you're doing, because that's why people will know, like, and trust you. So when you put your reels out, they're already warming up to you because they're watching your stories. So your stories will help strengthen your reels, if anything. Okay? Awesome. Dean's going to have a lot of those. All right. Again, thank you. If you just want to unmute, ladies, and just, say goodbye to everyone, please.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Please help thank the VIP students for sharing. If any of you are interested in the VIP program, actually, I only open it up twice a year. And it's opening up next month for the next 6-month intake on the 1st of April. So keep your eyes and ears open when I open that program next month, because we have a lot of fun together, as you can see. Okay, thank you, everybody, for listening, and I truly hope you got value and go and execute some of the things we've shared with you today. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.